What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey, still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. You don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
Alright, so when Digital Foundry came out with their Switch 2 confirmed specs, they highlighted the fact that the operating system took up quite a bit of resources of the Switch 2. It took up a couple cores, and it took up roughly 3 gigs of the 12 gigs of RAM. And a lot of people were kind of tripping over that. Like, wow, that's kind of a lot. That's kind of a lot for what we've seen of the Switch 2. That seemed like a lot because traditionally Nintendo has a very simplified operating system, and this seems to recreate that. Like, it doesn't look that much different from the regular Switch. Now, we do have the game chat, which obviously is going to eat up a lot more resources, but a lot of people were pondering, especially with how it was looking, if that was actually worth it. Well, a developer on Family Boards named Matt again is a respected poster there because I believe he is a developer. He's a developer. He actually makes games and gets early insight on a lot of these Nintendo things, and also have been giving insight on things Switch 2, especially in regards to how developers were looking at the system and third-party support for Switch 2. Well, in regards to that, he says he's heard that the goal is to get it down to only using 2 gigs and 1 core, but no idea when or if that will be accomplished. More resources have been released since the earlier dev environment, though, and I expect that to continue. So what he's saying there is that he's hearing that the goal is to get the operating system usage down to 2 gigabytes from 3, and instead of using 2 cores for the operating system, just use 1. And saying that actually more resources have been released since the earlier dev environment. So that's kind of implying that potentially what Digital Foundry reported could, at this time, could be outdated information, and they could actually, developers could actually have a little bit more access to a little bit more RAM and more power for the system for games than was previously reported, but he's not sure just yet. But it's funny because I could have sworn that I've heard that this was gonna happen. Where did I hear this was gonna happen? I could have sworn, I'm having deja vu right now. I could have sworn somebody told me that this was gonna happen. Wait a minute. Here's where the thing is funny here. So, first of all, regarding 3 gigs of RAM being allocated to the OS, game systems usually will start off with a lot of RAM dedicated to the operating system at the start. And I think that if this is true, this is just Nintendo allocating more than enough RAM to the game chat feature just in case. But if you guys have followed what happens, especially with the non-Nintendo systems over the years, the amount of RAM that is allocated to the OS over time actually shrinks, and more is often unlocked and available to developers. So even if this 3 gigs of RAM thing is legit, expect this to eventually come down a bit. Oh, so it was me that said this would happen. Wow. I am shocked. So like I was telling you guys before in that video, this is normal. These game console manufacturers, they start off with a somewhat bloated operating system, and then over time it gets more efficient and they free up more resources for game developers to use. Now, it's crazy. While we were making a big deal about the Switch 2's operating system using whopping 3 gigs of RAM for the operating system, the crazy part is it's actually not that far off of what the PlayStation 4 used. The reason that we were reacting all crazy is because Nintendo usually has a bare bones operating system and that eats up the least amount of resources as possible, but also, super bare bones, like, and it shows. So it's kind of like why the eShop on the Nintendo Switch kind of sucked. No music, very slow. Hopefully they improve that this time, but yeah, trying to search for games on the original Switch's eShop and stuff like that, it's pretty slow and pretty boring. Actually kind of made you not want to buy games on there sometimes. But yeah, so this is normal for them to shave this usage down, but like I said in the video before, this is actually very impressive, because if the games that we're seeing already is with already that much resources dedicated to operating system where the developers couldn't use, that just means these games, once they get more efficient and once they allocate more of these resources to the actual game developers and not to the operating system, these games are going to look even better. So pretty much, if you like what you're seeing now with games like Street Fighter 6 and Cyberpunk and games like that, and if you like that, you ain't seen nothing yet. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, we are still on the road to 20,000 subscribers, so if you're into Nintendo Switch 2 content and you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the video, leave a like and let me know what you guys think in the comment section about the video.